Hi, hello, lovelies. Hello, family. Thank you for joining me here on my channel. Today, I got another interesting topic that I want to talk about. I found an interesting article here on dilemmax.net. It's about the H.R.40 commission. They did a commission to study and develop reparation for a proposal for African Americans Act. Um, this was under the 115th Congress, 2017 through 2008. I found out about this information originally from another fellow YouTuber, and that's Lisa Cabrera. I believe I pronounced her name right. I love her channel. Y'all should check her out too. She's awesome. But she mentioned this H.R.40 for reparation, and I know she mentioned that she didn't think it was, was not much to offer the Aborigines, the blacks, aka African Americans, for reparation. And I haven't had a chance to read over the actual proposal, but I do. I skimmed over it some, and I might read a little bit with you. I know that a lot of the people that's in the leadership are much older. They're baby boomers. And I love the baby boomers. My mom is a baby boomer, and I think that's great. But I really do believe that there need to be a younger generation going forward to be more aggressive, because I don't feel like the baby boomers are getting older and they're tired, which I understand, but we need more of a leadership in our generation. The Generation Xers and the millennials need to step it up some too, because, and y'all need to know your history and understand, remember the discrimination that your ancestors went through. I know a lot of millennials. I know I talked to my daughter. She was a little passive about it, but I'm pushing on her too, because she's a millennial. And they say a little passive because they, haven't had to go through as much. And I haven't had to go as much either. But I remember stories that my grandma told me. And my mother told me some of the stories she saw when she was younger. But it's just that they're tired. The baby boomers are getting older, and it's time for us to step up. And I'm looking at this reparation bill. It's too much passivity. Too much passivity. We need a younger generation that's more aggressive, that's going to get on these butts of these Republicans, and also the Democrats, because they're not for us either, as far as I'm concerned. They don't respect passivity. They respect aggressiveness, and we need to be on code and be united. And we need to be a uniting force to push this through, because what they're doing is BSing us, as far as I'm concerned. Because I looked through this and I wasn't happy at all what I saw. They're not going after enough, as far as I'm concerned, because it's been total injustice since the Greys, the Caucasoids, the Caucasians have stepped their foot here on this soil, their pale foot on this soil, as far as I'm so concerned. The Caucasians have done a lot. And let me just read it so I can tell you, because they only going after the slavery portion, but it's so much more. And if you know your history and you go further back, you know that we are indigenous here. And it doesn't start at 1619. It starts even earlier than that. As far as I'm concerned, it starts in Virginia, the initial contact. And it's already proven that the Virginia Indians were Aborigine. They were not the Mongoloids. The Mongoloids were further west in Canada. They were not over here. They were Aboriginal. Majority of the people over here were Aborigines. That's why they captured the slaves. They captured the indigenous peoples, because they were Aborigines, and that's why they captured them and put them in slavery. They got pictures. There's documentation right there of the Virginia Indians working out in a tobacco plant. Tanchin has talked about that. Tanchin is one. He's another YouTuber that discussed that as well. But this is Congress John Conyers. I think he did a brilliant job wonderful, wonderful job at getting this, taking in place. I haven't had a chance to read it in more detail, but I think he did a great job in initiating and getting it started. Because somebody had to start it, which is great. And I'm glad the Black Caucus did start. But I was sometimes wondered if the Black Caucus ever thought about changing their name from Black Caucus to the Aborigine Caucus, because we are not Black. As far as I think that label is a misnomer. We need to do away with it, because that's a name that the Caucasians, the Europeans, have imposed on us. A better name would be Aborigine for us, to relieve and get rid of that negative energy that's attached to that label. And the other thing here, it says here, the commission study is a study that they did, and they did an introduction. I just wanted to read the introduction to you and tell you my thoughts about this. It says, to address the fundamental injustice, cruelty, brutality, and inhumanity of slavery in the United States and the 13 American colonies between 1619 and 1865, to establish a commission to study and to consider a national apology and a proposal for reparation for the institution of slavery. It is subsequent, de jure and de facto, racial and economic discrimination against African Americans and the impact of these forces on the living African Americans, to make recommendation to the Congress to appropriate remedies and for other purposes. Okay, the introduction I have an issue with initially, because it says 1619. As far as I'm concerned, the gray Caucasoids, the Caucasians, came here in the late 1400s, and we were already here. Okay, they need to get rid of African American. That's a misnomer, and put Aboriginal American. Okay, that's what they need to do. Go further back on that date. Okay, it needs to start from the date when they came over here and stripped us from our land. All right, we were already over here. Slave trade was told in reverse. Now, the other thing that needs to be corrected on here, as far as I'm concerned, is that slavery should not be the only thing that should be mentioned as far as our reparations are concerned. All the injustice that they have done from the date that they stepped foot on this country, on Turtle Island, that it needs to, the date need to be changed, and it needs to be current day today, 2018. Okay, current year. The reason why I said that is going back from the late 1400s, when they first got here and wreaked havoc and did constant genocide and enslaving our people. That's one thing that they did wrong. They stole the land. That's another thing. And all the lies with the treaties and taking us off, identity theft. Okay? Because they want to keep the slave narrative going. The identity theft of our people, taking them off of Dawes rolls and putting gray Caucasoids in there as $5 Indians and stealing the benefits that we supposed to have had. And also, when we did the civil rights movement, I forgot also, they was the reparation for Jim Crow. Okay, that needs to be put in place too, a reparation for that. All the Jim Crow laws that they passed, okay, and stripping us further of our indigenous heritage. That's another thing they owe us for. Identity theft, and all those $5 Indians that took our ancestors' place on that roll. Where's the reparation for that? And then misclassifying us, changing our names so many times. How many times have they done it? They changed us from colored, Negro, what else? Black, and now African American, Indian. They just originally we were Indian, so it's like they just constantly changing our identity, and then the burning of records, destroying records to make it harder for us to claim our heritage. and lying in the history books, stripping us of our history. All those things, injustices need to be included in there. The lynchings, the killing, the genocidal tactics, the Tuskegee Project that they imposed on us. How about those gases and stuff that they put in the black community? How about Black Wall Street? All of that need to be included. They need to have a whole book on it, okay? To these great caucusors so they can understand they owe us big time. Really, they need to give us this whole country back to us, because that's what they really owe. And I got to continue on. How about the drugs that they put into the community? The crack, the coke, the crack that they flooded the black community in, okay? And then throwing guns all in our community, creating violence. That's another reparation that they owe us, okay? And then what else do they owe us for? They owe us for the killings that's going on today. Cops being allowed to just shoot us and gun us down for no reason. Okay? And then also the media putting fake news in there, accusing us of crimes that we did not commit, throwing people in jail. All of that need to be in there as reparation that they owe us. And how about the mass incarceration of our black men? Okay? That's another atrocity that we had to deal with, that we still going on to this very day, and that they owe us for, because they are using us for modern day slavery. Slavery has not ended. Okay? Slavery has not ended. Since it has, from that time on, when they stuck their foot on this on this land, all the way to now, they owe us. They owe us 400 to 500 years. Let's see, that's late 1400s. Okay, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. I said 500 years, okay? It's not this little time period here. And then this date is a misnomer. This is a wrong date right here. They just put 1600 down, just made up a date to make it look like they didn't do anything. And they didn't bring that many Africans over here. That's already been proven. We already looked at Emory's research. Not that many boats were brought over here. Okay? So we already know the truth, y'all. Okay? And these lies and stuff, it can't keep on going. That's why we said we need to have more young folks who are more hip to what's going on and more keen and not brainwashed. They already awoke and know the truth that of what our history is. Okay? We know that we were already over here. Okay, I don't care what you say. Our ancestors were prisoners of war. I'm inclined to believe my grandmother over a Caucasian historian who just does nothing but gray wash history to fit that narrative of great supremacy. But I just wanted to share my view on here. I don't think this is enough as far as I'm concerned. They didn't list all the injustice. We had a whole tons of, maybe several encyclopedias worth of things we need to put down for our reparation. And plus, the Black Caucus need to change their name. We're not the Black. That's funny. It needs to be called Aborigine, or we need to set up another group of people who are woke and have a caucus, an Aborigine caucus, or something. We need more people who are woke in there. And I think it's great that our people, I appreciate Representative John Conyers for getting it started. That's awesome. He did a brilliant job with getting that going, because that's the truth. They got it started, and that's one of the most important things. But the younger generation needs to step in. And we got to put some fuel to the fire to these folks, because it don't make no sense that they continue this narrative. This reparation is not enough, and we need to go doing extensive research on all the stuff the atrocities that's went on. Okay, and first of all, we're not Black. That's a misnomer. We're not from Africa. We're from this homeland. And that's what I had to say. I was just a little pissed off about that. I was sort of stuck on that first paragraph. That needs to be rewritten. This should have been a rough draft. But anyway. But I was reading down further. It says here, is that they talking about the findings, talking about 4 million Africans and their descendants were enslaved in the Americas colonies became the United States in 1619 to 1865. And these colonies were nothing more than them kidnapping the indigenous people and throwing them in slavery, which are us, the Aborigines. So they were here prior to that. That date is wrong. They need to change that. So I was sort of sort of upset about that. So a little bothered by that. But I just wanted to share this with you. I'm gonna put a link below about this bill that they done and the research, which is great. But I think we need younger people in here. I listened to his speech. He seemed really tired. Representative John Conyers. I think it's great what he did. I appreciate that. And I think all of our younger generation needs to honor him because he got this ball rolling. And that was very important. Him and others. But the thing is, we need younger generation with fuel to the fire, who are fighters, who are ready to get this thing going the right way. It needs to be expanded upon as far as I'm concerned. Yeah, it's a good start. But I don't think that's the final version. Need more. But I'm going to play this video so y'all can see what I'm talking about.
When I introduced the legislation in 1989, it was the first time we'd ever asked the federal government to do something about it, the legislature. And that is to create a commission of persons who have a background and experience in the subject matter, who could help us work our way out of the past enslavement and how we would reconcile that awful period of our existence when it was legalized enslavement.
Okay, I'm gonna stop right there, you guys. But I just wanted y'all to hear Representative John Conyers in his speech. And I believe him and along with others were the ones that got the reparation started. And they asked, like I said, you need to tell them this is what y'all gonna do. It's no asking. We didn't ask to be enslaved, and we're not gonna tell. We tell you what you're gonna do because you owe us. That's a fact. So I think it's great that he got it started, and he looked like he's an Aborigine too. He's an Aborigine American as well, but I think it's great when he got it started. But like I said, I do believe that we as younger generation needs to step in and help with being more proactive, and so future generations can be ready. I'm sorry, I'm strolling this up back to the top, but I want y'all to hear that video. But that's what I was just saying. We just need to be a little bit more, lot more aggressive, and we need to unite more. More of us need to hurry up and get awake, because this Republican Party, if they could just give us little crumbs and say, "Oh, that's your reparation," they'll do it, and they'll BS us, okay, and get over like a fat rat, like they always have. But no, if you got a younger generation that ain't gonna put up with no BS and have a force that says, "Hell no, you're gonna pay us and you're gonna do us right," then you're going, and then we got something going. But we still facing discrimination to this very day, and they still don't acknowledge it. And I was telling you how they trying to erase Jim Crow now in the history books. I was showing you how there was a professor at Harvard already greenwashing our history, talking about, oh, it's everybody that suffered Jim Crow, and they had the audacity to put down that white folks suffered from Jim Crow too. Gray Caucasoids didn't suffer anything. What did they lose? What did they lose their heritage? Did they have their rights stripped? No, they did not. So they shouldn't even be mentioned. You know, as a person that suffered from the changes of changing people's labeling system, the labeling system changing people's identity. We're the only group of people that had ours changed so too many times, more than anybody, any group of people. And the reason why and that's the question we need to ask ourselves: why did they change our identity so much? The reason why is because they are trying to hide the truth. They don't want to pay us the reparation. They want to keep it going because they don't want to pay any money, and they want to continue to use us as leeches and benefit off of our hard work and efforts when we should be the ones benefiting from ourselves. But anyway, I just wanted to share this research, the H.R.40 proposal to you all. I'm gonna read through it, but I don't think they're aggressive enough. I can tell from the speech that he's tired, and rightfully so. He works so hard, he's the one that initiated, which is it's very remarkable, and I appreciate him. And every younger generation should be happy that he at least got the ball rolling. But it's time for the younger generation, like my generation. I'm guilty of it. I'm thinking about joining the Black Caucus myself. I'm becoming a member or something. Who knows? We need people with fire to get up in there and do something, because this is ridiculous. It's more than just slavery. And it's not just slavery. It was prisoners of war. That's what we were. And there's more things that needs to be done. But I would like to see what you all think. What do you all think of the proposal? I didn't get a chance to read it. I'm gonna be honest with you, I didn't. I just skimmed on. This is I just saw the beginning part, the intro, and that sort of threw me for a loop right there, because I feel like they're not asking for everything. They need to throw the book at these folks. It's like they're not throwing the book on anything. They just doing, just smidgen. You're asking for crumbs, you're gonna get crumbs, and you might not get anything, but you gotta demand it. There's no asking. We going to get it. Okay, that's the attitude we gotta have. Just like these great caucusors talking about, we gonna have things our way. We gonna have things our way too. Okay, because this is ridiculous. You can't keep on doing wrong and think there's gonna be a cutoff point. It's time. 500 years is too long, and it's long overdue. We need to wake up from this nightmare. Okay, we got to realize who we are as a people. That's very important. But please like this video and thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe. I am also on Black Junction TV. And I also have a PayPal. That PayPal for donations. I also have a GoFundMe account and also a Patreon. And I'll put those links below. And yes. And I'll keep y'all posted on when I'm gonna do another live stream. I apologize about Tuesday. I had to do comp exams, so I apologize for that. But I will try to do another one on Saturday. But till next time, peace and be blessed. Bye, family.